Beep, 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 beep. I'm going to call this Jester Idiot Day, right? Because the Jester's an idiot today. Because I've just spent 10 minutes talking to myself and realised I haven't put the camera on. Oh, what a tosser. I'm having one of those mornings. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day to everyone out there in the interwebs, right? How are we? Everything right? What have I got today? Well, I'm going to talk to you about Brendan O'Neill from Spiked. Beardy Brendan, right? Who always puts together some good crap, and it's good stuff that he's put together here. But I had the most marvellous meal last night. Buy me a coffee, by the way. Become a warrior teacher. If you can buy me a coffee, that really helps. Please, okay? Warrior teacher. Yes. Now, anyway, by the way, I had coq au vin last night. No, I actually did have coq au vin. I didn't. There was sex involved. Sex? Ugh. Filthy business. Best left to the beasts of the forest. Right. I'd forgotten how good it was. It's been a long time since I've cooked it. Oh, God. Unctuous. Now, isn't that a word we don't use enough? The word unctuous, right? So, unctuous. Coq au vin. And you pour the brandy over the end, the thyme, the bay. Glorious. With nutmeg mash and buttered spring greens. I went to sleep after. Because I ate too much of it. Oh, I'm a naughty man. Anyway, so I was thinking about it while I was doing that. I was getting ready this morning. And I was on Facebook checking, right, anything interesting? Who's done what? Do you get these things that come across your Facebook? Tell me in the Dubris. Do you get these things that are like reels? I think they call them reels. And it's just, Amazon's best buys. Okay, thank you, bye. Or whatever it is they do, these silly people. It's great, right? They make them on farms, apparently. There's whole advert farms that just churn out this shite all the time. But I was particularly interested by the food ones, which all seem to be from America. They're always American or Japanese. So I can either not understand it, or it just looks to me like a bunch of people putting cans of things together. Is it me, or is that what Americans do with food? Because they come on and go, welcome Crockpot TV, and here we're going to make perfect meal for your family midweek. All you need is 4 tins and some dry rub. That's it. And they stick it in the crock pot, and it's 50% cheese. What? Is that what that can't be what American food's about, can it? I know it's not really, but it seems to be, doesn't it? Get your dry rub here. Now you're going to cook this lamb for 48 days. I'm assuming the algorithm's wrong. What does it think I am on Facebook? Like, this is a fat bastard. He likes barbecue. What? I don't get it. Anyway, that was just a short aside. Do you get it? Put it in the Dubris. I don't. That's just a short aside. See the things I think, especially when I've just spent 10 minutes just talking to myself because I forgot to turn the bloody camera on. Right, so Brendan O'Neill, chief political writer at Spiked Online, who you will be aware of, writes to us, and the link's in the Dubris, on California. Oh, California, I'm coming home. Home of Joni Mitchell, I believe, who one of my favourite all-time singers. Greatest album ever made, by the way, Blue. I've done this before. What Brendan is saying here is very, very interesting indeed. California, he says, is on its way to becoming the world's first trans dystopia. My mate went to California last year, and he rang me from California saying, "Oh my God, you're right. It's all shit. Beautiful, beautiful place, California. Unfortunately, there's shit going down. Lots of it. And some of this isn't very nice." So let's have a look at what Brendan's got to say, because this should send a shiver up your spine. Because California is the epicenter, right? What happens there will happen here later. California is the epicenter. It's where it all started. No coincidence, eh? Big tech. California is on its way to becoming the world's first trans dystopia. A bill currently before the California Senate says parents who fail to affirm their gender's identity should be classed as abusive. What's more, in custody battles, says the bill, judges should think twice before granting custody to the supposedly cruel parent who refuses to accept that his or her kid has switched sex or become non-binary, or whatever. Judges should strongly err on the side of giving custody to the mum or dad who genuflects to their offspring's gender beliefs. For this is essential to the health, safety and welfare of the child, the bill says. The days when parents could get away with being hurtful are gone, said a California assemblywoman. Think of the children. It's interesting to me because I'm UK based, obviously, so California is as far from me as I can imagine, but I do have warrior teachers in California who I worry about. Them and their families. It's heartbreaking. right? So there's a serious side to this, despite me being a twat as usual. There's a serious side to this, right? But I sit here in the UK and think to myself, where the fuck did this all start? Where did it all start? You know, how did we, not the whole critical social justice thing, but how did we get to the point where we're now telling kids that their parents are abusive because they won't let the kid indulge in the fantasy that it wants to have? It's just insane. It's government, big government, right? From my perspective as a man who hates big government, right, because I think it should interfere in our lives, it's a toxic parent, let me tell you that I think this is the same as Challenge 25. It's the same thing. You go into Sainsbury's, you've got to look 25 over to buy a car. It's the same thing. The gradual creep of a toxic, controlling parent. It's exactly the same thing. Have your 5 a day, same thing. 15-minute sitters, same thing. It's all the same thing. It's all the toxic archetypal parent. And there was a misunderstanding between I and a Twitter user the other day, who I said this on Twitter, and they lambasted me. Stop picking on parents. And I had to say, no, I mean archetypical toxic parent, smothering toxic parent, or violent, abusive toxic parent. If you're in a war-torn country, you're suffering from the violent, abusive toxic parent. If you're in a, run by a despot, if you're in the UK, or in the USA, as it appears in Canada, certainly, then you are suffering from an over-smothering toxic parent. Either way, they need to fuck off because we don't need them, which is ironic because that's exactly what they're telling parents to do when it comes to real parents looking after their children. Up is down, black is white. Brendan continues, let's put this into plain English. If your 7-year-old son tells you he's a girl and you do not instantly treat him as a girl, you could lose him. He could be taken away from you. If your 11-year-old daughter tells you she doesn't want to go through puberty and you make her go through it anyway, you could be branded abusive. Simply for ensuring your child experiences the perfect natural hormonal transition into adulthood. It's anti-human. And what if your teen says he's a demigirl now? Who uses Zer pronouns? That's a legit identity in the woo-woo world of gender ideology. The California bill's sweeping insistence that the affirmation of the child's gender identity be considered in custody cases would presumably target even parents who refuse to submit to their son's cracker's demand that everyone refer to him as Z. The bill in question is Assembly Bill 957. It is aimed at protecting LGBTQ plus youth, says ABC News. Get that TQ plus off. Get it gone. Hence why it encourages parents to affirm their child's gender identity. Encourage is such a slippery euphemism here. When the state threatened to use its extraordinary power to take your children from you, it is doing more than encouraging you to affirm your child's gender identity. It is forcing you to. It is coercing you to bow down to the eccentric diktats of the gender religion, threatening to tear apart your family if you do not. It is an unforgivable act of doublespeak to dress up such flagrant state interference with the rights of parents and the sovereignty of the family as protecting LGBTQ plus youth. Nothing to do with LGB, everything to do with TQ plus, and I hope the message gets out to those on the right, people who are perhaps people of great faith or who disapprove of gay lifestyles, fine. But you don't necessarily want to stop me doing it, do you? You're just like, I'm not doing it. You want to do it, but you're a sinner and you're going to hell. I'm all right with that. That's got nothing to do with the TQ plus, right? We get that, okay? We had an accord for a long time. Let's keep that accord. Be very specific about your condemnation of this. Your condemnation of this should be for the TQ. The LGB are the mad gays that don't get it yet. They're not the majority of gay people or lesbian people. The majority of gay and lesbian people do not associate with LGBTQ plus cults. Okay, and I hope that we can get that message out there. In fact, I'm going to reach out to somebody, a very nice gentleman who I met previously, and I'm hoping I can have a conversation with him this week because I need to talk to somebody on that side who understands what's happening there. So I'll get back to you if that works out, all right? The bill, if passed, would fundamentally redefine family life in California. It would devastate parents' rights. Your rights over your children, to love them, to look after them, to socialise them as you see fit, would be utterly contingent on your acceptance of the new state religion of transgenderism. That's it. In a nutshell, there it is. It weakens the authority of you as a parent. It's not the only one. There are more bills going through that we need to be aware of. And the sinister message is that your parents can be evil people. That their archaic belief in biology is a prejudice. And then Brendan says, indeed, one of the grimmest achievements of the trans ideology has been to erode the bonds between parents and their children. One of the core arguments of trans activists and their identitarian elites more broadly is that children must be protected from the backward beliefs and parenting styles of their own mothers and fathers. It's a queer theory attack on the family. It's a queer theory attack on the family. We've got to see this. We must speak up. We've got to say something. We've got to get more people involved. Come and join the team. Come and be a warrior teacher. Let's get something done. I mean, the stuff they're doing is amazing. Within hours of the Wix stuff, they're out. They're out, stickering. Get out, go on. Right, you lot, off you go. I didn't have to say a damn thing. Of course I didn't. I'm not some kind of weird leader. They do what they want. And the WhatsApp groups are some of the feistiest conversations you've ever seen in your life, which is great. But we need to do something. This is a queer theory, pure attack on heteronormativity, which is characterised by them, which they have absolute dismay for, which is the kind of disgust that you show for a rotting corpse, is the idea of a man and a woman, a family with 2 kids. That is, they see that as similar to the smell of a rotting corpse, because that is their absolute enemy, the idea of what they call heteronormative, which is just in fact normality for the vast majority of people. Speak up now, lest you be silenced, because in California, parents are no longer the parents of the child. The government is now the parents of the parent. What could possibly go wrong? See you later.